Have you ever had a moment that felt like destiny was knocking, literally, on your door? Not just a coincidence, not just chance, but something deeper, something meant to change your life forever. That's exactly what happened one cold, sleepless night, to a man who had already given up on surprises. He was a single father. Mid-30s. Tired eyes. Hands worn from working double shifts. He had a son who meant the world to him, but life had not been kind. His wife had walked out years ago, leaving him not just to raise a child alone, but to piece together the shreds of his own heart while holding his boy's spirit together too. He wasn't rich. He wasn't perfect. But he was present. He showed up every day, made every school lunch, every parent-teacher meeting, every scraped knee and bad dream. He was the kind of man who knew that love wasn't about words, it was about doing the hard things when no one's watching. That night, he had just tucked his son in and was sitting on the couch, staring at the walls, wondering if this quiet, exhausting grind, was all there was. Then came the knock. 2 a.m. His first thought was danger. Then confusion. Then concern. He opened the door to a sight he could never have predicted. There she stood, barely 20, shivering in a thin coat, hair tangled, cheeks flushed from the cold. She was striking, not just in beauty, but in a haunting, ethereal way. And before he could even ask who she was, she looked into his eyes and whispered, "You feel familiar." Let me pause here. Imagine hearing those words from a complete stranger in the dead of night. Not, "Help me," not, "I'm lost," but, "You feel familiar." It wasn't just odd, it was unsettling. But it stirred something deep inside him. Something he hadn't felt in a long time. He let her in, sat her by the heater, gave her some tea and a blanket. Then came the unraveling. She told him bits and pieces. That she had run away from something, somewhere. That her life had been one of privilege, but not peace. That people had only ever wanted her for what she had, never for who she was. And that night, she had finally decided to break free, even if it meant wandering in the dark. She didn't know where she was going. She didn't know what she was looking for. But when she saw his porch light, she felt drawn to it. And him. As the hours passed, so did the masks. He told her about his struggles. About raising a boy who asked why mommy never called. About working 3 jobs to keep the lights on. About loneliness so thick, it felt like fog in his chest. She listened, not with pity, but with understanding. The next morning, she left. No number, no promise, just a lingering look that said more than words ever could. But this isn't a love story, not in the traditional sense. Because life doesn't always tie up in neat bows. Sometimes, it gives you moments, powerful, unexpected ones, that change the way you see the world. Weeks later, she came back. Not in need, but with intention. She had searched. Learned about him, about the boy, about the quiet sacrifices this man had made without fanfare or applause. And that's when she told him her truth. She was the daughter of a billionaire. But wealth had only ever bought her chains. She had lived in mansions, but never felt at home, until that night on his couch. They didn't fall in love overnight. This wasn't a fairy tale. It was slower, realer, deeper. He taught her about grounded love. About fatherhood. About showing up. She taught him about dreaming again. About feeling worthy, not just responsible. About the idea that maybe, just maybe, life still had miracles in store. Now why am I telling you this? Because you never know when your life is about to change. You never know when your pain becomes someone else's purpose. When your resilience becomes someone else's anchor. The man thought his story was small. Ordinary. Just survival. But survival is extraordinary. The girl thought she was lost. That she'd never be seen for more than her wealth or her name. But in being seen by someone who had nothing to gain, she finally found freedom. So here's what I want you to walk away with. 1. Your kindness might be someone else's lifeline. Open the door, literally or metaphorically, even when you're tired, even when you think you've got nothing to offer. 2. Your struggles are shaping a strength in you the world desperately needs. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean it's not powerful. 3. Love shows up when we least expect it, but only if we're brave enough to answer the knock. Don't close yourself off. Not from new beginnings. Not from healing. Not from the wild, strange, beautiful ways the universe can work. You might feel like that single dad today, overlooked, overworked, unseen. But hear me. You are not forgotten. You are familiar to someone you haven't even met yet. Familiar in the best way, the way that feels like home. So keep showing up. Keep opening the door. Because your story isn't over. In fact, it might be just beginning. Thank you.